The championship leader drops down to 5th. Won both races, the two season openers, as PK is having a look down our inside. Oh! Welcome to the third round of our 1983 Formula 1 Championship in Automobilista 2, where we are trying to make Andrea de Cesaris a Formula 1 race winner. Today we're racing at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. The Spa circuit found its way back on the calendar after a long absence, with a renewed and updated circuit after F1 left the track in 1970, where the last Grand Prix took place here, then still on the old 14-kilometer long layout. Now, you may notice we skipped the Monaco Grand Prix for this season. This is because I couldn't race these cars on the modern circuit that is in the game, as this is too immersion breaking for me personally. It already was on the limits of immersion with the 1991 and 1994 seasons, as the Monaco then looked very different from the one today. But in the 80s, the layout was even slightly different still. So without a historic version of Monaco, you won't see me do any racing on this circuit on this channel with such old cars. So this is why we're already skipping ahead to Spa-Francorchamps this time. The race in real life was won by Alain Prost in the Renault from Tambay and Chiva. Our guy, de Cesaris, didn't see the checkered flag yet again after a failure with the fuel injection, after he took the lead at the start of the race and continued to lead for some time. So, as so often the case, reliability brought him down, and that's after qualifying went so well for him after he qualified third. Today I go ambitious therefore and aim for a podium finish, which I hope is achievable for me on this track, even with my personal skill issues with the gearbox. Looking at the starting grid, I already mentioned it, we start from P3 in the second row behind Prost and Tambay, the latter of which we already battled in Imola for the most part of that race. Again, the grid looks pretty turbo-dominated, but let's see how this plays out in Spa as we go racing for the Belgian Grand Prix. Well, and here we are, with only two cars ahead of us, as the lights go green and we go racing at Spa, but it's a bad getaway this time for us, as Nelson Piquet in the Brabham is already passed, but into La Source we go. We have the inside line. Can Piquet outdrag us on the exit? No, he can't. So we retain P3 after all, and going towards Eau Rouge and Gradillon. We were still gaining on the Renault and the Ferrari ahead, but it's not a good exit out of there as we lose a bit of speed uphill. It's not quite flat out with these cars, at least with a full tank of fuel as I have right now. As into the chicane Le Combe at the end of the Camel Straight we go for the very first time. And we keep P3 for the moment, no immediate danger from behind right now as Piquet has his mirrors full, and actually René Arnoux is now even past the Brazilian in the Brabham. So let's see if we can focus on the fight ahead, or if we rather have to orientate us behind. This has been the first lap of this race. We stay in P3 as Prost and Tombe are having a battle up ahead. Tombe has now taken the race lead. Down towards Eau Rouge we go once more. This time let's hope for a better exit. I lift earlier this time. Oh, but I bogged down then. Up the hill. Revs way too low. In general, I think I should switch down more often, as I'm using too high of a gear in many corners. Same here for Lecon. Probably I should take this one in second. As Anu runs wide. He was very close there to us, and I think that is Piquet back through again. The championship leader drops down to 5th. Won both races, the 2 season openers, as Piquet is having a look down our inside. Oh, he spins us. Oh, did I just turn in on him there? Well, we dropped 1 position. Anu, I think, got held up behind, so we're still fine, but we have lost the podium position for the moment. Still early days. Only 20 laps this time, as in real life. The race somehow only went 40 laps, which is way below the 300 kilometer mark, which I think usually 305 kilometers I think is the mark for a Grand Prix, with Monaco being the only exception. But somehow back in the day Belgium seemed to be an exception too. Don't know why that was the case, so if you have more knowledge about this, leave a comment down below, as now I'm trying to focus to catch up to Nelson Piquet again. Don't worry, we will see a replay of what's happened later, but I think for now, let's focus on trying to get back into that P3. I think what we're realizing here is that we're dropping back from Piquet, and we really rather have to look in our mirrors, as there is René Arnoux just behind us as we are going through Blanchimont right now. Getting a bit braver, but still not brave enough to switch down into second into some of the slower corners. I do so for the bus stop, but I think I'm really on the lower limit of the revs. Oh, yellow flag! Oh, and that is for Tombe! That is for Tombe! We're back into P3, not because we were so quick, but rather because Tombe has lost it after the bus stop. And, oh, behind us, René Arnoux is gone as well. Keke Rosberg in the Williams Ford is now behind us. The lead non-turbocharged car of this race. And now let's look at the replay that I promised you. It all starts with a poor exit out of Randillon, where we then get under attack from René Arnoux in the number 28 Ferrari, who has now the outside line. I think we're still ahead. He never really is fully alongside when he runs wide into the grass. That allows PK through in the blue and white Brabham behind us. And then we go down the hill here. We are quite early on the brakes, but again, I don't think he was fully alongside us. I mean, yes, I left the gap there, but this is his onboard. I don't think he was far enough alongside, honestly. I think that is PK's fault, that spin. And now let's see what happened to Tombay. So Prost has retaken the lead in the meantime. Then they go through the bus stop. Oh, and he just runs wide at the exit. Oh, even makes contact with the wall. And I think that is some bigger damage now to that Ferrari. And now let's focus back on our race. René Arnoux, the same lap as Tombay had his spin, he went into the pits to retire. So a dreadful afternoon for both Ferraris. Their season has been going so well. Put both cars onto the podium in the opening 2 rounds. Or was Tombay on the podium? I don't remember, but of course it was a double points finish for both of them. As we're now back in the points, not only the points, but the podium. We're being put under pressure by Keke Rosberg in the Williams, who's really a lot quicker in the rather technical bits of this circuit, in the corners, approaching the corners. But lucky for us, as we are in the turbocharged car, we're pulling away on the straights. And this is where you usually see moves being done. Not only today, but also back in the day. The easiest move, this has always been the case in Formula 1, at least since the dawn of aerodynamics. Slipstream, go alongside on the straight, or catch up on the straight, and then either you're already passed with the help of the slipstream, or you outbrake the other car into the corner. But now you can see it quite impressively. Rosberg is dropping back after he almost tried to put his car alongside us in some very unusual spots. Oop, bit of shortcut. You didn't saw that. But yeah, it's a bit of an issue, and still, even after 6 laps of this race, I still haven't properly found my rhythm. Now this is where I'm pulling away from Rosberg once more. Down towards Eau Rouge. Still haven't figured out the proper way to take this corner. It's getting a bit better as the revs don't drop too low, and now there is no danger from behind, because even if he gets a better run out of there, on the long and quick camel straight, he will be dropping back. Another issue, or something that may become an issue, is our front right tyre, who is, again, it was the same in Imola, right? We even had to pit at the end, because the front right was dead, or pretty much dead. This time I think it's not too bad, because it's a clockwise track, this one. But there are a couple of corners, well, pretty much Pouhon and Blanchimont, where the front right takes a bit of a beating. So we need to be careful to not have any lockups, because that could make our afternoon a lot worse. But at the moment we are keeping Keke Rosberg at bay. I even get the impression that we're starting to pull away a bit as I get into sort of a rhythm. And yes, so far no missed gear or anything, so I think you might almost say I'm slowly getting the hang of driving with an 8-shifter. And now I have probably jinxed myself that I spoke that one out loudly. But for now, I was correct, because this is the end of lap 11, and I think we're going to see a personal best right now. Yeah, there it is. 4/10ths quicker than our previous best. And slowly I was getting the hang of this track as well, and which gear I needed for which corner. So yeah, I was beginning to pull away from Keke Rosberg. And sometimes, I don't know if this is my imagination, but I think on the horizon I was seeing a small black dot, which might well be the naval blue car, or in parts naval blue car, of Nelson Piquet. So maybe, can we get revenge on him and retain the position that he stole from us in lap 2? Well, let's find out. And that here might well be another personal best if I get the bus stop done well. Even if I missed the apex at Blanchimont a bit and lost a bit of speed. Let's see as we cross the line. Yes, yet another fastest lap, at least personal fastest lap for us. As we are dropping down towards Eau Rouge and Radion again. And I think we are catching up to Piquet. You just saw him go up the hill there, I think. That really is him. And then, on the Camel Straight, I was surprised because we gained quite a lot. Look at this, we can now properly see him. And I think he's going slow on the straights. Is there an issue with Piquet's car, or did he make a mistake? Well, let's find out, but we are still gaining on him. More than we should. There is a double wave yellow. This certainly is not for Piquet because he's still going in the right direction, albeit a bit slow. And yeah, there definitely is an issue with Piquet's car. Oh, there is the reason for the double wave yellow. Aligi in the tire wall, facing the wrong way. And yes, towards Pouon, we are past Nelson Piquet, who is definitely driving a Brabham that has an issue with the engine or the turbo, who knows, but I think he has a bit of karma. Of course, let me know in the comments down below who you think was at fault for the Piquet de Cesaris incident in lap 2, but I gladly take that position now. And this is looking really well. And yeah, the Belgian Grand Prix was becoming a race of attrition. I think more so than all of the other races that we've seen so far. And as we were continuing to go well, we were even catching up to Alain Prost. 8.2 seconds is the gap as we go into the penultimate lap of this race. I don't think there is enough time for us to catch up to Alain Prost. 8 retirements we've seen so far. A couple of cars have been in the pits for multiple laps, so I think they can be counted as retirements as well. So I think it might only be 14 cars or so still out running on track. And once more, personal best first sector. Car was getting lighter, but also the front right was not in a good shape anymore. And I think at this point, I was just trying to bring it home, trying to take things slow now on these last 2 laps. Don't make a silly mistake. Take that P2, which I think is more than we expected ahead of this race. The goal was a podium, which is at least P3. We're even one position higher right now. Albeit, of course, because of a technical issue for Nelson Piquet, who, by the way, is still in this race. And I feel like he has recovered somehow, so he's still third behind us, I can tell you at this point. So it's not like he had to retire due to his issue. I think it somehow fixed itself. He isn't going that slow anymore. Yeah, who knows if we would have caught him anyway. But then at least it would have been a proper fight. We didn't have that. Or not really had that throughout this race. It wasn't the most interesting one, to be very honest. But at least so far, we made it without any bigger mistakes. And with 19 laps completed, there is just one more. 7 more kilometers for us to go. And then we would finish our season's best, and I think equal the Cesaris' best ever result! Oh, gee! As I lose it on the braking for La Source. That is some sort of rear locking. Don't know how that happened. But I think we got away with a scare there. Car was still feeling fine, suspension was still okay. Maybe only a bit of aero damage, but nothing too noticeable or too bad. But I think now really that has to be the sign. Take it slow, Robin. Bring this home. Now we're slowly approaching the final sector. 13 cars only now in this race anymore. So we're now really starting the final sector of this track, and then I do something very stupid. Instead of switching down to second, I'll switch up to fourth. Then I panic, engage the clutch, have no engine braking, nothing anymore, because I'm out of gear. And then, well, I run off the track and into the wall. I'm still second. There is some damage to my car. There is Nelson Piquet through. And we're even being put under pressure by John Watson now. Ooh, who makes contact with us? Or, well, I drive towards him, but that was actually not intended by me. It's just the suspension is so broken that I can't keep the car straight. So I'm very sorry for Watson. At least he didn't lose a position. Oh my god, I can't tell you how mad I am about with myself right now. Because that was a secure P2. No pressure. You saw the gap. And for how long we still stayed in second despite facing the wrong way, being in the tire wall and driving very slowly. It's still a season best P5 for us. But my god. That had to be a P2. You can see, top right, how mad I am with myself. That was really, really stupid. So here then are the point scorers. Prost wins this race out of Piquet, and Watson, who achieves the first podium finish for McLaren this season. Very poor in qualifying, but they always make up for it in the race, as they are gaining a lot of positions. Was the same in real life, actually. Rosberg fourth, and then, well, at least we managed to stay ahead of Chiva, so it's a season best, but it still feels like a loss, because it should have really been P2. And the Drivers' Championship, it could be us, on that first page at least. But, yeah, like that, we're still missing from it. Anu still in the championship lead, but look how quickly that shrunk. Prost now only 3 points behind him. Because he had about 0 point score today. Piquet also very much in that fight, just 8 points behind Anu. 3 different drivers from 3 different teams after 3 races that seem to be battling it out. Rosberg then the first of the non-turbo drivers in the P5, ahead of Watson, who enters in 6th. And then at least we gain 2 positions in the championship as we move up to 7th we're on 4 points and the 100% point scoring streak is still alive, which I think is still something to take out of this race, even though it's pretty much the only thing to take away from that. And we have the pace for P2, so yeah, I mean, yeah, just if not for that final lap, yeah, still annoyed. Commentating this, I think 4 days after I actually recorded it, and I'm still annoyed about myself. Let's look at the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari still in the lead, although Renault are slowly closing in, just 9 points behind now. Alfa Romeo returns to the first page of the results with the 4 points that we scored overall. And yeah, we're not too far away from Williams and McLaren. And that has been it with the Belgian Grand Prix, round 3 of our 1983 Formula 1 World Championship in Automobilista 2. The next race will fly over the ocean, across the ocean, all the way to Canada, where we'll see the next race at the Ile Notre Dame circuit at Montreal. Gilles Villeneuve circuit, I think it was already called in 1983. Well, anyway, it's Canada up next. Subscribe to not miss that. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.